Hi, Roy.
Hi.
Can I get your reaction to the game then? Are you pleased with the point or a little bit disappointed that you couldn't see it out for all three, having played so well?
Well, we played well second half. I'm really delighted with the second half performance, which was back to the Crystal Palace that have been used to seeing and which I think is what we are capable of doing. I wasn't at all happy with the first half, and Ray Lewington at half time was almost apoplectic in his criticism of what we were doing in that half. But luckily it produced the required effect. I thought we came out second half and did so much better. And as a result, I suppose one must feel that it's a pity we couldn't hold on to it. But if you're looking at the game over the 90 minutes, we'd had to save a penalty to stay in at 0-0. And they were so clearly better than us in the first half, Leicester, and they are a good team. I think I'd have to say that I am pleased with the point, and most importantly of all, I'm very pleased that we've broken a very nasty sequence, which has damaged our confidence. We can't deny that, and has caused us a lot of pain.
You made some changes defensively. How pleased were you with the defensive solidity today?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, to be fair, James Tompkins is a regular first teamer. We've been waiting for the right moment. He's been fit for a while now, technically fit, but of course you never quite know how that's going to pan out when you put him into a Premiership game. We lost Scott Dann for this game, so that was a bit of a blow for us. And as far as the fullbacks concerned, we've always known that they are very, very good players. Before we brought Joel Ward back into the team up at Aston Villa, Klein had been playing. And before Tyreek Mitchell got injured, he'd also been playing. So we weren't too bothered about that side of things. I think we could have been equally as good defensively had Ward and Patrick Van Aanholt played, but we chose to play the other two.
Can I just ask you a quick one on the news tonight? Man City Everton called off because of coronavirus. Just your thoughts on that. Are the protocols as you see them now adequate? Have you got full confidence in them? Is there anything more that can be done? And are you concerned that it could have an impact at your club?
It's a very good question. I'm actually quite thankful for it because I've got full confidence in everything the Premier League is doing with us at our training ground and at matches to make certain that we keep the virus away. But I think what this is showing that in a moment in time where the virus is spreading quite rapidly, it's impossible for people how well shielded they are by the Premier League and by the protocols that we have. It's impossible to totally shield people from getting it because the fact is they are human beings and they leave the football club and they go home and they have children who are coming back from school and they have to do their shopping, etc., etc., etc. So it is very, very concerning, I must say. My hope is that we can survive it and keep, banging on through as it were. But I would lie if I didn't say I am concerned about the frequency of the virus at this moment in time. And I don't see how we in football are going to be so particularly shielded from it, even though we are trying so hard to remain shielded from it.
Thank you, Roy. Cheers.
Thanks, Tim. Okay, if you have a question, if you can use the emoji, please. Is there anybody else that would like a question? George Sessions from Sky.
Hi, Roy. I just wondered, have you seen back the potential penalty shout Crystal Palace had in the first half? Benteke headed over, but it seemed like it was handball beforehand. But VAR didn't check it. I mean, it was flagged afterwards on Amazon Prime. I wondered if you'd seen it.
Yeah, I have, but I mean, it's like everything else. If I were to spend time talking about it, I'd be reducing the game once again to an incident. I mean, I prefer to see the game over the 95 minutes or whatever it was. I wouldn't have felt, I'd have been happy to have won the game on a decision like that, but I also have got the perspective to know that I would have been devastated to lose it on a decision like that. They had a penalty shout in the first half, which the referee, in my opinion, didn't give, but it was a definite shout. We maybe had one they didn't give either. The bottom line is that over the course of the game, we refereed it very well. There were very few yellow cards. which sometimes you do see in matches, despite the fact there were very few fouls. So anything I would say could be deemed as a criticism of the referee, and that's the last thing he deserved, because Graham Scott refereed it very well.
Thank you. John West, please.
Hi, Roy.
John.
You gave us a bit of an insight into the dressing room there when you mentioned Ray Lewington. It's something that James Tompkins mentioned. Is that rare for him to go ballistic, or is that part of your double act?
It's extremely rare, that's for sure. I mean, I've been guilty myself of the odd rant in recent times, and haven't always felt that proud of myself afterwards. I was more than happy to let Ray take centre stage there today. All of us on the bench were quite saddened by what we'd seen in the first half. We didn't think it was anything like ourselves. We didn't think it was anywhere near good enough. And we thought we were being dominated by the opponent, and didn't really see too much hope for ourselves if we continued in the same vein. I think that it certainly produced the right effect. I think Ray's going to have a headache and a very sore throat tonight, but he can at least feel very happy that what he said and what he demanded from the second half, which was the quite correct thing to demand, was actually produced on the field of play. We got what we were hoping for in the second half, and as a result we come away with a point from the game, and we've broken that very unpleasant sequence of the last two games. And I suppose even if we were to want to feel a bit sorry for ourselves, we could even say we might even have got all three. But I'm more than happy with the one, and I'm more than happy with the second half performance.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to Edmund Brack of Favel.
Hi, Roy. What did you say to the players after the defeat against Aston Villa? Because they seem to be galvanised today.
I didn't need to say much to them. In actual fact, I did speak after the game, and it wasn't a rebel-rousing speech by any stretch of the imagination, but it was a chance for me to express what I was feeling and my emotions at the time. And then the players themselves, I think, decided to have a little meeting amongst themselves and, start to read themselves the riot act a little bit, because certainly the second half performance against Aston Villa, a bit like the first half today, is a long way away from what we are capable of and what we therefore have grown to expect. And I think that's very important. The players themselves, they have to have a knowledge and a personal pride of, this is how good we are, this is how good we can and should be. And when we are reaching those standards, yes, we're going to be told by the management and coaching staff, but it's also up to us to look at ourselves sometime in the mirror and ask the question, what have we got to do more? Because however well you manage and however well you coach and whatever good work you do in terms of preparation, when the players enter that field and the referee blows his whistle, the responsibility shifts. It shifts onto the guys who are on the field in order to make certain that when they leave the field of play, they can say, I knew my job, I did what you expected me to do, and therefore I can feel satisfied with my performance.
Thank you. We'll go to Neil McClellan of the Mirror. Thank you.
Yeah, hi, Roy. Just wanted to get a reaction to Will's goal, the way also he contributed to it as well. And now also the fact that he's now scored 8 goals this season. That's twice as many as he scored in the whole season. What does that say about the way he has taken about his job this season? Yeah,
he's getting a lot of praise for that, and he fully deserves a lot of praise for that as well. We're very pleased with him. We're pleased with the passion he showed throughout the game today. We're pleased with the effort and desire that he's obviously showing. And it's great that he's getting some rewards, and a lot of those 8 goals have been very good goals. We're still a long way to go in the season. We're not even halfway through yet, and I think Wilf set himself a reasonably high target, and we're going to be trying to push him and help him all the way to get that target of goals, because there's no doubt when he can really prove to people that he's got added goal-scoring powers, as well as his powers of dribbling and holding onto the ball and creating chances, then he's going to prove to everyone what a exceptionally good player he is, and he doesn't need to prove it to us because we see it on a regular basis. So we believe he's an exceptionally good player. But in the eyes of the world, I quite agree that these goals are making a huge difference.
What is his target then? Can you say?
Well, I don't set targets. I mean, I'm one of those people that don't necessarily believe in those things. I don't think there's any point in it. I think it's just it's an exercise. We could say 15, we could say 30. You know, what difference does it make? No, if I was him, I would be very concerned if I'm going to get to a target that's been set. I'm going to need a lot of help from my teammates, and I need more performances like we showed in the second half than performances that we showed in the first half, in the second half against Aston Villa. So all these things are linked together. That's why I never actually go ahead and say, this is your target for the season. It might be a bit easier for Jurgen and Pep Guardiola to set targets. But for us, you know, a lot of the games we play, we're up against it. You know, we're playing against a team with a lot of very, very good players. Sometimes we have to defend very, very hard, and Wilf has to take part in that defending. So that's why I don't actually set those type of targets.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks. And we'll finish with Joe Doyle, Football London.
Hi, Roy.
Right.
You said recently that players have been knocking very loudly on your door to get in the starting lineup. I was just wondering, out of the players who went in today, have any given you further thoughts for the next game?
Well, they did very well. To be fair, they did what I expected from them, quite simply. So that headache, if you like, of which 11 to choose will always be there. And some of the others who aren't getting much of a chance at the moment, they aren't knocking as loudly on the door maybe as they could do. They are accepting the situation, you know, very patiently. I wouldn't mind them knocking at the door a bit louder, but there's only one way to knock at a manager's door if you're not being selected. That's to make certain that you get your man right, that you come into training every day determined to show on the field that you are making a mistake in not picking me. That's how it's got to be. That's how it always has been. The knock on the door doesn't mean too much because when the player comes and sits down in front of you, there isn't so much you can say. You know, I have to pick 11. I've got 25 to pick from. There's always going to be 14 disappointed players. And those who are disappointed have got to work very hard to show me that I am being a fool not picking them, because talking to me about it's not going to work.
Okay. Thanks very much, Joe. I think that's it. I can't see any more emojis, so we'll leave it there. Thank you very much.